Call the meeting to order. I have one adjustment to the agenda I'd like to propose to the commission of moving the new business up to be item 3. But after approval of the minutes, so we can take care of that business first and then move down. So, can I have a motion to have a second?
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? All right, motion carried. All right, and hopefully everyone had a chance to review the meeting minutes from our June 18th meeting. So I need a motion to approve those unless there's any comments or corrections.
I move that the minute be approved.
All right, we got a motion. Second? All right, motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? All right, I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Jurgen, for the new business.
Mr. Chairman, members of council, you have 2 items to consider for rezoning tonight. The first is the application of Ms. Spildy to rezone property from RUD to industrial. That property is located behind the rest area, just off I-26, and it's 26 acres that's unoccupied on that side of the road. That zoning is more consistent with zoning of the property around it. And we feel like the industrial classification is the best use for this property. We recommend approval.
All right. Members, anybody got any questions or comments? All right, well, we need a motion to approve this application to change the classification on this 16 acres from RUD to IND. I have a motion.
16 or 26?
I'm reading the notes, it says 16. Is it 16 or 26?
16.16.
Okay.
I make a motion to accept it.
Second.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, the second item we have is the application of Gail Wilson, 198 Myers Lane, St. Matthews, and she would like to rezone that from RD to LD. LD is a limited development area, and it is my understanding that she would like to have a shredding business there, shred documents and stuff, create very little impact on the surrounding properties. And it's proper for the staff recommends approval of this.
And how large is the property?
15 acres.
Is there currently a building or anything, or
That's
should be building a facility? Or?
There's nothing on the land.
Okay. Any other questions? Need a motion?
You have someone back there wants to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you stand up and tell us your name and?
My name is Lionel Jeffcoat. I'm be retiring here. My wife and I purchased 251 Myers Lane. It's adjacent to our property, and at the current time, when I got this in the mail, I was kind of shocked, but anyhow, it is what it is. It's quiet where we are, but currently there's people who come back there, sit, throw trash. I've had to call the sheriff's office several times to come out. And we went through trash, found out who it was, picked it up. I kind of policed the area there. And right now it's a quiet area. And I'm thinking of putting, since she's talking about putting a shredding business, I'm thinking about noise, one. Two, thinking about pollution, whether it be water, land. And I'm from the area, so I know the area quite well. So those are my concerns at the present.
Is Ms. Wilson here or? No? Do we have any details of the business? Is it gonna be a building, house in a building?
No,
A
sir.
larger facility, nothing?
I don't think she's determined that at this time.
Okay. What's the surrounding? Is it all RD in that whole area? And
Yes, sir.
Maybe we can table it until I want to give us
what would be the next in the process, Mr. Jurgen? She would have to come before us with plans, and the next step would be,
Issuing building permits, sir. Once that use was approved, she would come to us with her drawings and her ideas for the property and the use. And then we would review those drawings, and if they're appropriate, we'd issue a permit. But the use would have to be allowed within that district that she is requesting.
okay. So, any questions or any motions on the?
I'm representing Tiffany Major, we have property back there, we have 2 acres, how would that affect us?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you or understand you. I apologize.
Tiffany Major, how would that affect us? I have 2 acres back there, and I'm planning on putting a home back there, so I wanna know how would it affect us?
She has 2 acres back there and wonders how it will affect her. As it's been described to us, it is a business that you would come to something like the county and gather up their paper, and then they take it and run it through a shredder, and then they take that to a recycler and sell that paper. The way it's been described to us, there'll be very little outside the building, very little in the way of smoke or anything that goes into the environment. It's just very simply cutting pieces of paper up.
Mayor, can we table this to the next meeting to look at it a little better before we approve it?
Yes, that's a prerogative, if that's the motion on the table for it to be tabled, then,
I second.
all right. So the motion is to table this item to further discuss it and more research, and maybe if we can get some more information on her plans, size, because it is a pretty large tract of land, so if she's gonna be in the middle of it with a fairly small building, then, but, so, we got a motion to table. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion tabled. Excuse me, the new business table. All right, next on the agenda would be the citizen comments. Y'all have the sign-up list.
You did? Yeah.
Since we do have quite a large crowd here, we're, according to our policies of allowing 3 minutes per person. And please, where do we want them to come? And please come up to the front and tell us your name, and we hear your.
Mr. Chairman, in keeping with our policy, that 3 minutes does not start until they have given their name and their address. And then I have this little handy dandy app on my iPhone that counts down 3 minutes and gives us a buzzer. So we'll keep that for you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Well, the first person must be a doctor because I can't read everything.
Barry, I have a question. All right,
Sir.
first guy on there, I think is Alton Aaron, is that what it said?
Yep.
All right,
Good.
so, yeah, I saw his name,
Okay.
recognized it when I came in. So, if Alton doesn't use his whole 3 minutes and he uses a minute and a half because he's got a brief thought, can he surrender his other minute and a half to me? Y'all don't want to hear 4.5 minutes of me tonight. You heard more than that of me last. All right.
If there's no rule against it.
Well, how about this? We'll put you at last and we'll see how time proceeds.
Okay.
And
I'm running.
We'll-
I'm running about 3 minutes and 40 seconds. I'm
okay.
just looking for
Well,
that
I
other
mean,
40 seconds.
We'll see how the night goes, and
All right.
so first one is Aaron. That's not right, Mr. Aaron. Could you come up and tell us your name and address? And,
My name is Alton Aaron,
all right.
and I live in Columbia. But I am work with Earth Properties
Yes, sir.
in the Sandy Run area. And the real estate office is located at 1259 Old State Road. And upon review of the proposed zoning map, it appears the office is located in the rural neighborhood zoning. Based on the review of the proposed zoning plan, real estate offices were not specified as permitted uses. The real estate office has been at this location since the early 1990s. It is preferred that the zoning classification be changed to community commercial so we would not have to operate as a non-conforming use if this zoning passes. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Yergin, are we gonna address each comment, or are we gonna take notes to them and get back to them, or how do we want to proceed here?
I thought we would take notes, sir, and we can, I'm sure a lot of citizens have the same question, and we can answer that all at one time.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna skip you for now, Mr. Khan. But Mr. Jimmy Khan is, I don't recognize faces when I only see their eyes. I apologize, Mr. Khan.
Stand right here.
Yes, sir.
Can I proceed?
Sir?
Can I proceed?
Yes, sir. Just proceed with your name. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My name is Jimmy Kahn. I have owned and operated the Sandy Run Nursery Landscaping at its present location. And I've owned this since 1981. Been there since that time. I'm not sure the community commercial zone is the best fit for my 7.3 nursery, 8-acre nursery business. I would prefer to work with the zoning officials to determine a zoning classification that would best fit my use of the nursery, greenhouses, and outside sales and storage areas. I would not prefer to operate as a non-conforming use. Thank you, Jimmy Kahn. Please refer any questions to Thomas Kahn, Municipal Hall.
Yes, sir. Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Taylor,
Oxnard.
sorry.
No problem. So my name is Taylor Oxnard. I'm with the Central Carolina Realtors Association. The proposed zoning amendment and the planned rezoning of much of the Sandy Run from existing RUD district to RN and RP district will significantly reduce, or in some cases, eliminate the number of new developable lots that may be created from a given parcel in the rezoned area. And generally, adoption of the new zoning that significantly reduces potential development leads to a significant reduction in property values of parcels affected by the zoning change. Developers seeking to build a subdivision will typically pay less for a parcel that would yield fewer lots than the developer might have paid before the downzoning. Likewise, an owner who plans to subdivide their property and sell the resulting lots will have fewer lots to sell. When property values decline because of downzoning, a practical impact is that some rural homeowners will have counted on their excess undeveloped land as an asset they could draw upon in the future for needed revenue, will no longer have this potential safety net. The reduction in value will hurt homeowners in rural area of Sandy Run who might have been intending to carve off a lot or two to generate income for their long-awaited retirement, or may need to sell off some of their land to pay a child's tuition, start a business, or cover unexpected medical bills. It is unequitable and unfair to require private landowners to bear the burden of furthering the county's goal of preserving the rural character of Sandy Run for the benefit of all the county's residents, as the proposed zoning amendment would have it. We would request that rather than take a broad brush approach that negatively impacts property values and the rights of numerous property owners, the county should instead focus on protecting the county's most valuable resources, such as prime agricultural land, wetlands, significant woodlands, and important scenic corridors.
Mr. Westbury.
I'm Doug J. Westbury, a surveyor in the county here, live at Old Swamp Road. And reading through the proposed changes, I don't see any allowances made for estate subdivisions. Certainly for folks, a lot of times, we just want to create some lots for the children. And a lot of times people call me and say, well, I was left some property in my granddaddy's will or something like that. And a lot of times it's not but an acre. I see here where there's some minimum lot sizes talked out, 4.8 acres, 2.4 acres, and only 3 lots allowed before you have to go through a subdivision process, and you have to pave roads and that sort of thing. That seems a bit restrictive for some of the folks that work for it. They might have, 4 or 5, 7 or 8 children. And it seems like maybe something like a 10-lot minimum might be a little more acceptable for somebody who just want to leave land to the kids. And lot sizes too seem kind of restricted. A lot of folks that call me just maybe have 3 or 4 acres. They might have 3 or 4 kids. And we just want to leave a piece of the family land. It seems like it would be a good idea to maybe make some kind of allowance for them, for the estate type subdivisions.
That it? Thank you, sir. Amy Hill.
Okay. If anybody else comes up and speaks, please speak up, because I am recording. But of course, I'm Amy Hill, and you know where I live. According to the new plan where our house is located, I have 5 acres with my husband. If I wanted to parcel off an acre to both of my daughters and have them move near me, I couldn't do that. And that, as a landowner, takes away my liberty to have my children near me. And I don't think that's fair, that the government be able to limit what we can do with our property. It is our property, and I think that every landowner in the county would like to live in a free society and be able to do with what their land they want to. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, because it is taking away property owner rights by restricting them this way. There's no provision for family to give land to their children and have them come and live near them. So that's my concern, and if that can be addressed, I get it. I want Sandy Run to be rural too, but not at the expense of landowner rights, and I just don't think that that's fair. I think it's bordering a lot of restrictions that America was not built on. This is America, we can't forget that, and we can't allow neighbors that wanted these restrictions to keep Sandy Run rural, and again, I want it to be rural too, but we cannot allow other neighbors to dictate what we do with our property. And that's my question. If that could be addressed, that'd be great.
Okay, thank you. Now, Jeffco?
I've already spoken.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. DB, another doctor in the house, I guess. Oh, that's Mr. Spilding. Okay.
Yes. I live next to Dak, formerly Caroline Eastman. My name is Dennis Spilding, by the way. First of all, think about this for a second. We're talking about Sandy Run and everything that's going on in Sandy Run, because that's what this plan is for, nothing else. You're making Sandy Run residents drive all the way down here to talk about their future when we have a community center up there and other things that would be much easier for the citizens to come to comment. The other thing I have is, and I'm looking in the crystal ball, is everybody knows that Sandy Run's gonna grow, whether we want to or not. There's gonna be more industry, more people, and everything that goes along with it. What I want to see is some way, and I don't have this way, I'll tell you this, but some way to contact every landowner in Sandy Run and then start setting up 2 or 3 meetings in Sandy Run so that the people of Sandy Run can show up and voice their concerns one way or the other. I just want it to get out into the open, in other words. That's all I want. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Thomas.
Man, I'm paying for that extra 40 seconds. All right. I printed this off of the county's website where it got the Sandy Run plan downloaded.
Okay.
Good evening, friends. I'm Thomas Kahn. I'm a resident of the Sandy Run community. My business, Earth Properties Incorporated, is also located in the area. I would like to speak with you on part of the new proposed ordinance for the Sandy Run area. Currently, the majority of the area is zoned RUD, which allows property owners little limitation on how their land is divided. Under the current proposed new zoning for the Sandy Run, section 5.3 of the document, the majority of the area is set up as rural preservation. Different than the current RUD zoning, rural preservation requires a maximum density of 1 home per 6 acres. Also, a landowner may only divide 3 6+ acre lots from their land without formal process, which brings me to that option. I understand the document 612 to say you may divide the entire parcel over 3 lots into 6+ acre lots, provided you create a 30-foot perimeter along all the property lines, trees with 24-inch diameter kept, root zones protected, landscaping specifying size, number of trees, 50-foot riparian buffers, heating and air away from the front of the house toward the back, Another option is the rural preservation subdivision, which is to allow 40% of the developable land to a conservation-like easement. This plan allows lots to be reduced in size to a 4-acre minimum density. I ask, what about the landowner that wants to divide their land for family, give a person an acre to build, or a person that needs to sell off a couple pieces to pay medical bills, tuition, or other needs? In the rural preservation district, this person would face having to survey out 6 acres to sell or give away this parcel. What if they only had 9 acres to begin with? How many lots could they divide? Keep this in mind. If this is about preservation, I want you to know that with a little research, I found over 4,000 acres in the Sandy Run area already protected by conservation type easements. Will the remaining property owners without an easement see lost value through more restrictions? If the land is sold to a new buyer, would the buyer not consider the additional lot size and development restrictions in the dollar amount of their proposal? I would offer these suggestions in the matter. The Sandy Run Area Plan, which Council approved June 10, 2019, notes in discussion about rural preservation on page 48 of the said document that a minimum lot size of 3 acres would be suitable. If that suggestion is taken, I believe 3 acres to be a more reasonable lot size. It is more manageable from the maintenance standpoint, less annual tax cost to the resident, and lower initial cost to the consumer. Furthermore, I believe 3 acres to be adequate to provide privacy, on-site drainage for runoff and septic system drains, and large enough to keep the rural character. Also, with lots this large, it would save all parties, that's the citizens and the government, save all parties time and money by not going into formal subdivision proposal unless more than 10 sites are surveyed off. 10 of these large sites being surveyed off. Once you pass that, then you go into formal subdivision. I would also ask the board to consider amending the similar zoning class of rural neighborhood with light reductions in lot size and added number of lots dividable to 10 prior to formal proposal. And finally, before making a decision on this matter, I would ask the board to request a mailing to each resident just as tax notices are sent out in the Sandy Run area, allowing them to be aware of this proposal and a way they can view how their property is zoned. In addition, I believe the county should promote a study to determine how this proposal could affect land values in the area and determine the cost of enacting and implementing these restrictions by the county prior to approval. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Amen.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
That's all on the list?
Can I ask a question, though I'm not on the list?
Sure.
I'm Cindy Shumpert, and I live on Old Swamp Road, and I just want to know I know we had the meetings where people could come around and give their input as to what we wanted, how it was, we wanted our community to develop. Who ultimately came up with this guideline? How was it decided that this was going to be the gospel? Or has it not been decided that this is gospel and that's what all this is?
That is the case. This is all a draft. We're working through a process.
But you got, who
Who
came up
drafted
with
all
this?
this?
Yes, sir.
It was a land planner, is that his correct title?
Does he live in Sandy Run?
He is someone that does this for a living,
Right.
land planning.
Okay.
This is all a draft that we have been working through. We started working late last year, getting drafts. We had COVID, so we really have not had visited this draft since early in the year. So we appreciate all of y'all's concerns. We want to address them, and we thank you for coming out and taking interest in this. So, Mr. Yergin, you want to add to that?
Mr. Chairman, members of council, and our guest, this document was written by a gentleman named John Gardner and his company. Mr. Gardner has over 35 years experience doing land planning He's very well regarded in the planning arena. We simply did not have the expertise to do it ourselves, so we asked that he do it. It's my understanding, to address Mr. Spildy, that there were meetings in Sandy Run that were held, and there were meetings here, but they were fairly sparsely attended. I'm not sure if that was a question of getting those announced and published to the general public. I wasn't here, so I'm going to plead ignorance on that. But it's my understanding that there were several meetings held. And these are the ideas that Mr. Gardner came away, that the Sandy Run community, the residents there, wanted to maintain basically an agricultural nature of the community, to maintain large tracts of land, family farms, and things like that. So that's what was done. Mr. Kahn, Senior, your business is existing as it is. It doesn't need to do anything to continue. We're not going to ask you to add a single thing to your property. It can go on from now on. If you pass it to another member of your family, they can still operate it. As long as that use does not discontinue for 180 days, nothing is needed to be done. It just continues right on. So we're not asking you to spend $1 down there. We want you to keep doing what you're doing. And that goes for anything that's in the district. Anything that currently exists will continue to exist.
I have a question about that. Suppose he got sick, and he was sick for 180 days and wanted to open his business back up. Then what would happen?
His business would probably continue to run.
Probably?
As long as he has that business there, it can go. I mean, as long as he is still set up with the state, he has a sales tax license, that business is continuing.
But he can't improve it. It says that non-conforming. It says you can maintain it, but you can't enlarge it and improve it. And I mean, that's what's America about, other than moving something ahead and making it bigger.
Well, at that point, he would come back for a rezoning. And he can do that. Yes, ma'am.
Well, in that case, things might change and he might not get it. And also, he would like to see his grandson maybe go to Clemson and have this nursery to run. The way I read it, you can't do anything if, as far as enlarging it and that sort of thing under the present draft. So all that's why we need to get it rezoned.
And even the community commercial doesn't allow the nurseries, the outside sale yards, and things of this nature. So at the very least, I mean, to have any opportunity to do anything to bigger or better it, we would need to consider to move it to a different zone, I feel like.
And we can do that. That's not an issue.
Yeah.
It is very simply, this document was looked at the best use for the land overall, without digging into individual parcels and saying, there's a grocery store here, there's a gas station here. It was an overall plan. The plan was set about to actually protect Sandy Run so that, and I hate to use this example, but I'm going to use it anyway, so that we don't get another Tall Pines. So that we don't get a subdivision that's very small with very few amenities that the folks in Sandy Run don't want.
Why don't we focus on that and not the current business owners and current residents? You're affecting people that are currently there. I live on Old Swamp Road, on Keith Line.
Yeah.
We should focus on any incoming businesses, residential areas and stuff like that. Why are we doing this at the expense of current business owners and residents?
There is no expense, sir. It won't cost you anything.
It's gonna cost me being able to give my children land.
to continue,
No.
to continue like you are, it won't cost you anything. If you wish to rezone it, then I would say let's make application for it. Let the planning commission take it up and look at that property and rezone it.
But I don't have to do that now. Why would I have to do that in the future at the expense of us?
That's a hard question, but
It certainly is.
and I empathize with you, I really do. If I had 10 acres up there and 4 kids, I'd want to be able to give it to them too. But this is an overall plan that looks at the best use for Sandy Run community. Now, I would think if you wanted to subdivide it, you can apply for a rezoning later, and then that'll be allowed. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I would hate to see the zoning passed and then have to go back and ask for it to be rezoned. I think that these things should be taken care of as we come to these meetings and find out what we need to do. And so what you're saying is we need to, the way I would interpret this, it would need to be rezoned before anything was passed.
And we welcome your input on that. If you've looked at the zoning map and you feel like your zoning is not correct, let us know.
We did.
Well, I wasn't here. And the only thing I can tell you is that it had Mr. Gardner's input into it. And the fact that you're here now says a lot. I appreciate it.
There's a lot of people that can't be here because it's at 5 o'clock.
Right.
I would suggest any future meetings maybe be a little bit later. With people that work out of town.
Another resident of Old Swamp Road. You know, I moved out here from Lexington County in 2000. This is my wife. I moved out here for what everybody in this room wants. We want to be able to enjoy what we have, and we have children. I have a 2-acre lot that sits in front of these guys. Mr. Con, everybody knows where my two-acre lot sits in front of a double wide truck that I want to give to one of my grandchildren. So from what I'm understanding, at this, I can't give that 2 acres that sits on the road in front of a double wide so they can build a nice home there. And that's crazy. That's not the best interest of Sandy Run.
Is it currently divided like that?
No, it's in my.
It's part of the 12-acre tract currently.
So the best thing I can do is go ahead and do it right now, before this comes into law, that way it's done.
We bought this land on one set of rules and now the rules are changing. Or you're wanting to change them. And it kind of sounds like your mind's made up to me.
No, ma'am, our mind's not made up. We're presenting this for the good of the county.
Good.
We're not doing this to punish anybody. It's the best land use. Let me give you some of my experience. I came here from another county. We were very much like Calhoun County. Very rural, big acreage, large lots. And the developers came in and they bought that land up and they cut it up and they created many, many subdivisions. And now you have an area smaller than Sandy Run that has 15,000 people in it. And that's what we're trying to prevent. We're trying to keep that rural nature of Sandy Run by having larger lot sizes and restricted uses. And that's what was indicated that is desired.
But can't we do the, like this gentleman said, the big developments, let's do that, I agree with that. But the small acreage, leave it alone. You know, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me, you're kind of talking out both sides when you're saying what you're saying.
No, sir, I'm really not.
Yes, sir, it's the way you look at it.
And I empathize with you, I really do. The Planning Commission has the ability to approve this before it goes to council. And that's what they're doing now. They're hearing your comments and they'll tell staff, we want this changed or we want to revisit this. and we will contact Mr. Gardner and tell him we need to do a little work with it. It's not a done document, sir.
That's good, that's tweet,
It's not.
like everybody has.
Yeah, that's true.
And nobody's trying to take your land or tell you what you can't do with it.
I'm not saying that. I know what y'all trying to do. I was on the zoning board for a while last West Point. But, you know, this is what makes Sandy Run. This is Sandy Run, which is what we're looking, you guys, us, this is Sandy Run in Calhoun County. People like us. We want, I don't want development here, you know, I want this guy to be able to give his kids, you know, so they can grow up with my kids and it keeps going just like it is. You know, and there's no reason that can't happen.
You're
Y'all doing a good job, just like you've been doing, in taking our concerns and going back to the board and saying, you know, that old man had a good point.
Well, you're not as old as I am, so I'll call you a young man. But we hear your concerns, and the commission hears them. And I've got a lot of comments written down that we're going to be addressing with Mr. Gardner.
Can I say a couple things?
Yes, sir.
The first thing, those meetings you talked about, there weren't a lot of people there, let's be honest about it.
Yeah, you're correct.
Dennis and I
The
was
second thing is, I really want to see this planning commission have at least one more meeting in Sandy Run, highly publicized. And the third thing is, and ask the county administrator this, what Calhoun County wants. If they want the development up in Sandy Run, which means the people are going to live in Sandy Run. If you want that, you're going to have houses up there for them to live in. They're just gonna want that, that's fact. I think you need to take a look at this plan again, keeping that growth pattern for the next 10, 20, 30 years in mind, and make some adjustments to the plan to reflect this probable growth spurt that's coming down the road.
I'm sorry, I'm not ignoring you, I'm making some notes.
No, that's fine, I don't know.
Okay, I've been on board for many years, and, this sounds like 20 years ago. Because the same thing happened when we had someone, I won't call names, had his lots right outside of St. Matthew. And he wanted to give it to his children also. Just exactly like you want to do. I've got a piece of land and I want, not in Sandy Run, but I want to do that myself. So I think we appreciate all of you coming and hearing what you have to say, and we understand your situation, and we will do the best we can to keep everybody happy. I don't know whether that means anything to you or not, but I've seen this happen before, and every time you get the zoning thing and start working on it, there'll be little things that we have to throw away and do it another way.
Well, let me ask you this. Will you say that you'll have at least one more meeting in Sandy Run, highly publicized, so the people of Sandy Run can attend?
That will be up to the chairman and the commission.
Just want to hear what you say.
And that is strictly their decision.
Where is John Nelson tonight? He's on this board.
might be working on.
He's the county council. I spoke to him earlier today, and he understands all of these concerns just as I do. So, again, this is a draft, an early draft. We need to meet more as a group, and we need to meet more with the public to look at all these concerns and get more input from I'll call the land planner an expert. Because we got to have something that's defendable by law too. We can't willy-nilly, all that sounds perfect. I mean, it sounds great, but we got to be able to defend it too. So we don't want to get ourselves painted in a corner and be losing it in court and losing money for the county. So,
We'll end up like a co-op.
Let me ask you this, what does the county administrator think about all of this?
We will have a meeting in Sandy Run, and I'll commit to that, yeah, we will.
What do you think about the growth?
And we'll try to have it at 5:30. But ultimately, understand, it depends on which side of the fence you're on. One day, if you're against zoning now, one day you may be calling us wishing that you had more restricted zoning. So understand, this isn't done trying to control anybody or anything. It's coming. We know it's coming. The development's coming. If we don't get a handle on it and understand where the best places for that development to go, no matter what development it is, we're behind the eight ball. And so that's what this is about. And certainly, we've had a lot of meetings about it, a lot of discussions, but this is getting up to the final. And that's why I wanted to have final draft on here, to try to get everybody, more people involved, and I see it worked. We will have one in Sandy Run, starting at 5:30 at the community building. But like Steve said, we need to get this back to the planner. I am pleased with the planner. He's seen a lot, he's been there and done that, and he's getting paid to do what we as a community tell him to do. It's not like he's just doing his own thing. So understand, he'll make these changes as we advise that to be done, and we'll move this forward.
Where does he live?
He lives in Lexington, but if you know a professional land planner in Sandy Run, let me know. Honestly, because I'd like to know.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you post the draft on the website so that it's easily accessible for everybody? It's a lot of pages.
We can, but what we've got to do is we've got to get it to the point where we're comfortable. And this is a living, breathing document. Now, not everybody's going to be comfortable, no matter when we decide to stop here and post it. But I want this input to get out there. I want to have that meeting in Sandy Run. Once that's done, then we'll post it. That way we have all the questions and concerns.
Yeah, we have not put it there because we did not want to have 8 different copies of 8 different drafts floating around.
That's exactly right.
And everything here is transparent. I mean, you call me on the phone and I'll give you an answer. Any time of the day, you email me and I'll be glad to do that either way. But we just wanted to make sure that we had something finalized to bring to the commission and to bring to council and have a final draft of it. And that's what we've done. It sounds like we need to do a little more tweaking to it from everything that I've heard tonight. And we'll start on that tomorrow.
Barry, I got
Yeah,
one thing to
that's
say.
what I was coming back to.
All right, man, I didn't want to. You know, this thing of this non-conforming use, I got these 7 points here, you know, and, you know, it says non-conforming structure shall not be changed. It talks about the permitted structure and you can't do improvements to it. You know, you can continue to use it as long as you don't vacate it or have a leave of absence for 6 months. These things, you know, we didn't say we were gonna specify grocery stores here, this was here, that was there. But you got these people that have taken their life building these small businesses, and we all know the pressure on small businesses in today's environment. So I do think that the time should be taken to acknowledge the locations and types of these businesses and how they're operating, so this document can be crafted to them, because, you know, as the government, these people are paying taxes to run the government, supporting the government through sales tax and whatever other means. You know, I think the government owes that back to those businesses to provide them, if for lack of another word, a catered type zoning, so they can continue to operate, enlarge, grow, and continue to hire people, pay taxes, and, you know, and grow America, period. So, you know, this non-conforming thing, just like my little real estate office up there, I need to put siding on it, but I'm getting fiber optic put in it now at a great cost, because that was a problem. But anyway, I didn't want to wait 2 years. But You know, I haven't put the siding on because I was doing that. Now I'm facing putting windows and siding on it. Well, if I don't match zoning, I'm non-conforming. Well, I can't make a substantial improvement. You know, and then my business continue to look like junk.
Let me correct something right there.
All right.
Windows and doors and siding is not expanding your business, that's maintenance. That's no different than painting the outside walls. You're not expanding the square footage of your business. You're still within those four walls. If you want to go inside and renovate, come get your building permit and do it.
But my concern, Steve, is what if the next guy that comes in behind you is hard-nosed? Or I don't have these nice people up here to communicate with anymore, and then I'm in a pinch.
That's what that ordinance does, sir.
Well, I want it,
That's what the protections are for.
yeah, well, I mean, I want it clear as to what it is.
That non-conforming use, that is in probably 99% of the zoning ordinances in the state. Probably in the southeast, maybe the nation. It's just a simple thing. It allows things that don't meet the new zoning to stay. It doesn't put Mr. Jimmy out of business. It lets his business continue. It doesn't put you out of business. And if you are replacing your storefront, you're adding windows, you're changing your heat and air, that's just maintenance. That's all that is. And if you go out back and add a 2,000 square foot building, that's adding to your business, adding to the nonconformity. And you can't do that. If your business burns and you're gonna build it back, as long as you build it back the same size, you're continuing that nonconforming use.
Well, in this document, just one word, it says non-conforming structure shall not be, or non-conforming structure or use shall not be extended, enlarged, or intensified. Intensified is a pretty open word. I mean, who's going to determine what intensified is?
I think the intensified portion is not changing your office to a massage parlor. You've got a business office and you can stay there forever, but a business that is much different than yours, something that would not be attractive to the community, can't move into your building. It has to be a similar use as to what you've got. Mr. Jimmy couldn't put in a landfill, even though he has a nursery there with lots of open land. He couldn't put in a landfill. Does it make sense?
But it's a draft copy.
But, you know, I mean, it's fine. I'm finished, Barry. It's good. Thank you, Ms. Bjergen, for
Yes, sir.
reply.
I'm just Steve.
This is for the county administrator again. I'm sure we've done projections of growth in the area, especially Sandy Run. What are they?
I can't tell you that, to be honest with you, Dennis. There's projections residential, there's projections industrial. I know from an industrial standpoint, it's very aggressive right now, with Columbia coming down and Charleston coming up. And I can't tell you what those numbers are. Certainly, Ivory and Steve will take that note down and we'll give it to you.
Maybe even bring it up at the meeting with Sandy Run.
Anything else? Anyone else? Well, again, thank you all for coming out and giving your input, and this does mean a lot to us, I mean, to me personally, but we appreciate that. And again, this is a draft, and we'll continue to fine tune it. And so, do you have a staff report any further?
No, sir.
Okay. Any other commissioner would like to
How will it be
address?
publicized? You know, you
address.
said it would be more publicized to the meeting. How would you make it?
We'll talk about it, certainly, I'm hoping the Sandy Run News will give us some PR.
Oh, you'll get some PR.
Yeah. Some positive
You got
PR.
some PR tonight.
Yeah, I'll take some positive PR. But we will look at the mailings, we'll try to do our best to get everybody involved that has concern.
How
But
was
just
this
understand-
meeting
but I just want to make sure
publicized?
everybody understands. I went through this over in
That was
Orangeburg.
it?
I went through this over in Orangeburg County, and it's a much larger area, of course, but no matter how it shakes out, not everybody's gonna be happy.
That's right.
And I think that my concern is those who aren't happy to get in touch with the department here, the county, and let's talk through it.
You know, I was bummed about Dollar General. I thought, oh my God, where is Sandy Run going? We got a darn Dollar General. But I bet we all go there and get milk.
Yeah.
You know, we all use it. I was bummed with the liquor store. Well,
Calhoun.
they shut down at the outpost. So I mean, I understand. But
You know we
It's
call
coming.
that Sandy Run Walmart.
Yep.
the Dollar
It's
General,
coming, we just gotta make sure we do it
You
smart.
know, guys,
Just let it go.
the thing to keep in mind is a heartbeat. We're not worried about the big one. We're worried about the heartbeat of Sandy Run. These people in this room. That's what we need. Not the big one. We don't want big one. They can go somewhere else.
No,
They go to Orangeburg.
I understand.
They can go to Orangeburg.
I understand, but you don't want to buy your property.
and honey, if they got big money, they might
personally
can have it.
Yeah, well, you personally might not, but I don't know if you wanna say that for everybody.
But we can concentrate on restricting them.
Yeah, we can word it, or you can word it in a way.
But then county will lose money.
I'm sorry, Chairman, go ahead, move forward.
The last item on the agenda was adjournment, so we need a motion.
For that, when is the next zoning meeting and what's gonna be on the agenda?
I do not know the agenda that is developed over the next month. Our meetings are every third Thursday of the month, except December and July. We usually take a winter break and a summer break, or unless we don't have any agenda items.
Is there a deadline for the final decision?
No, I mean, there's,
I don't know if you have any.
Can we get the notices mailed? And I know they're posted on the county website, but can we get those emailed to sandyrunnews@gmail.com? And I'll do my best to keep it up.
you got that, Ivory? Sure. All right, do we have anything else? Do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. Need a second.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries.